a dream that lasts.
Welcome to the Startup Venture Lab podcast, the place where ambitious entrepreneurs turn ideas into profitable online businesses. Whether you're launching your first startup, scaling to six figures, or looking for game-changing growth hacks, you're in the right place. Join us as we break down proven strategies, expert insights, and real-world success stories so you can build, grow, and dominate in the new digital world. Ready to take action? Let's dive in with our host and tech entrepreneur, J. Todd Jennings. Over to you, JT.
Welcome to the Startup Venture Lab podcast series on Build What Sells. I am JT and I am joined by Ella Silver.
Thanks, JT.
Today we are going to deep dive in how to conduct customer interviews, which is really fundamental if you're building anything. Understanding the people you're actually trying to serve.
Absolutely fundamental.
It sounds straightforward, maybe. Just, talk to your customers.
Right? But it's often not that simple in practice. So many projects, they fail because we assume we know. Instead of getting that direct input, we build based on our own ideas.
Those assumptions can be killers. So this isn't just about having a quick chat, is it?
No, not at all. It's about structured conversations designed to uncover genuine insights, the kind that really matter for success.
Okay, so let's unpack that. Where do we even start making these conversations, effective, it feels like? More than just firing off some questions.
Definitely more. So the very first thing before you even think about who you're going to talk to or what you might ask.
Out for all that?
Yeah, you absolutely need to set crystal clear objectives. Think of it like planning your route before you head out.
Okay, a roadmap.
Exactly. What's the number one insight you need to walk away with? That's your primary objective.
The main goal.
Right. Then think about other valuable stuff you could learn along the way. Those are your secondary objectives.
Okay, the nice to haves.
Kind of. And crucially, how will you know if the interview actually worked? What does success look like? Those are your success criteria.
That makes a lot of sense. So it's not just wandering around hoping to find something interesting. You need a target.
You need a target. Vague goals lead to vague answers, always.
Can you give us an example? Like, what might these objectives look like in practice?
Sure. Let's say your main goal, your primary objective, is to really understand the customer's buying process for a product like yours.
Okay, how they decide.
Precisely. Secondary objectives might be identifying who else influences that decision, or maybe finding out what other solutions they're using now, right? And the success criteria. Success might be defined as, say, having a really clear step-by-step map of their decision journey by the end of the interviews.
Okay.
And maybe identifying, let's say, 3 to 5 specific pain points or frustrations they consistently mention related to that process.
That's really concrete.
Yeah.
I can see how that avoids just collecting random anecdotes. Got another example?
Yeah, absolutely. Imagine you're trying to prioritize new features for some software.
Okay, common scenario.
Very. Your primary objective would be getting a clear ranking of feature priorities directly from users.
What they want most.
Exactly. Secondary could be understanding their budget constraints for new tools, maybe.
Practical stuff.
And success. Well, success is walking away with that prioritized feature list directly informed by what your customers actually said.
Okay, that framework, primary, secondary, success criteria, seems incredibly useful.
Mm-hmm.
So we know what we want to learn. How do we find the right people to talk to?
That's the next critical piece, yeah. Participant selection.
Yeah.
You can't just grab anyone who's free. You need a systematic approach. First step, define your ideal participant profile. Who exactly is your target customer? What are their key characteristics?
Get specific.
Very specific. Then set some minimum qualifying criteria. What must be true about them for their input to be relevant to your objectives?
Okay. And I'm guessing you don't want to talk to just one type of customer.
Absolutely not. Diversity is key here.
Yeah.
You need to aim for a sample that reflects the different segments within your market. Get a range of perspectives.
Makes sense. How many people are we talking about, roughly?
Well, for this kind of qualitative work, you often start seeing clear patterns emerge after about, say, 15 to 20 interviews per segment you're investigating.
15 to 20 per segment. Okay, that's a helpful benchmark. Is there a quick way to sort of check if we're selecting the right folks?
A screening checklist is really useful. Something simple.
Like what?
Does this person actually match your target profile? Do they have relevant firsthand experience with the problem you're exploring? That's crucial.
Not just theoretical experience.
No, real experience. Can they articulate their thoughts? Do they represent different parts of your market? And importantly, are they unbiased? Not too influenced by maybe an existing relationship with your company.
Good points.
Yeah.
Okay, objective set, participants identified. What about where we talk to them? Does the environment matter much?
Oh, it matters a lot. The setting can really impact how open people are, the quality of the feedback.
How so?
You want an environment that encourages honesty, depth. If it's in person, find somewhere quiet, private, no interruptions.
Right.
Comfortable seating helps. Make sure your recording gear is ready before they arrive. Tested. Maybe. Have some water available. Simple things.
Okay, basic comfort and focus. What about remote interviews? So common now.
Same principles, different tools. Stable internet is non-negotiable. Test your video, test your audio beforehand. Always.
Always have a backup plan too, I guess.
Is it? Definitely have a backup recording method. Use a good digital note-taking system.
Mm-hmm.
And if you need to show something, test screen sharing too. It just signals professionalism, respect for their time.
Right? It makes it feel serious and organized. Okay, stage set. We know the what, the who, the where. Now the questions themselves. How do we structure that part?
Yeah, the question framework is really the engine of the interview. I like to break it down into maybe 3 phases.
Okay,
First, the opening questions, usually about 5, maybe 10 minutes. The goal here is building rapport, understanding their world, their context.
warming things up. What kind of questions work well here?
Keep them broad, open-ended, things like, tell me a bit about your role and your day-to-day, or what's a typical day look like for you?
General context.
Exactly. Or even, what are some of the main challenges you face in your role right now? The key is open-ended, focused on them, let the conversation flow, show genuine interest.
And crucially, avoid leading them.
Absolutely. No leading questions, especially at the start. Just let them talk.
Got it? Warm up, understand their context. Then what?
Then you move into the core investigation. This is the main part, maybe 30 to 40 minutes. This is where you dig into the areas tied to your research objectives.
Okay, the deep dive part of the interview itself.
Right? I usually focus on 3 main areas here: exploring the problem itself, understanding their decision process around it, and figuring out how they assess value.
Okay, let's break those down. Exploring the problem, what questions help there?
You want specifics. Try something like, can you walk me through the last time you actually encountered the specific problem?
Get a real story.
Yeah. Then follow up. What have you tried to do about it? Or what solutions have you looked at? And importantly, how did those work out for you?
Okay, understand their attempts and frustrations. What about the decision process?
Here you're mapping how they choose. Ask things like, how do you typically make decisions about this area? Or who else gets involved in these decisions?
The stakeholders.
Right. And what criteria are most important when you're evaluating options?
Getting into their priorities, that makes sense. And the last piece, value assessment.
This is about their ideal state. What does good look like to them? Ask, what would an ideal solution actually do for you?
The dream scenario.
Kind of. Or, how would you measure success if you had a solution? And maybe, what makes something like this actually worth investing in for you?
Okay, those are great starting points. But people don't always give you the deep stuff right away. What if you get a vague answer or you feel like there's more there?
That's where probing techniques are essential. You gotta dig deeper.
How do you do that effectively?
One classic technique is the 5 whys. It sounds almost too simple.
Just keep asking why?
Pretty much. Ask why maybe 5 times in response to their answers. It helps you drill down past the surface symptoms to the root cause. And
Can you give an example?
sure, they say, this process takes too long. You ask, why does it take too long? They say, because we manually enter data in 3 places. You ask, why do you have to do that? Keep going. You get to the fundamental issue.
I can see how that peels back the layers. What else works? Other probing techniques?
Situation-based probes are excellent. Focus on specific examples. Can you give me a specific time that happened? What happened right after that?
Storytelling.
Exactly. You can also ask, how did that make you feel? Or what did you do then? Get the action and the emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And don't forget clarification probes, just making sure you understand. Could you explain that a bit more? What do you mean by a specific term they used? Or how does that compare to something else? Simple but vital.
Prevents misunderstandings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great techniques. So we're prepared. We have our questions, our probes. Now, the actual interview starts. Those first few minutes must be key, right?
Absolutely critical. The first 5 minutes set the whole tone, build that rapport, make them comfortable.
How do you recommend starting?
A simple, friendly intro script helps, something like, thanks so much for your time today. I'm researching your topic to better understand your objective. This conversation will really help us build better solutions for people like you. Frame it collaboratively.
Nice. What else needs to happen right at the beginning?
Set expectations clearly. Tell them roughly how long it'll take. Ask permission to record. Explain. Why, for accurate notes.
Always ask permission.
Always. Assure them about confidentiality. Explain briefly how the info will be used. And set some ground rules.
Ground rule.
Yeah, simple things. There are no right or wrong answers. We value your honest opinions. It's okay to say, I don't know, and you can stop at any time. Just empowers them.
That sounds like it would put anyone at ease. Okay, the interview is underway. How do we ensure we're really listening, not just waiting to ask the next question?
Active listening. It's a skill. It's more than just hearing. It's engaging.
How do we show we're engaged?
Verbally, use small acknowledgments. I see. That's interesting. Could you tell me more about that? Signals you're tracking.
Little verbal nods.
Exactly. And non-verbally, too. Maintain eye contact appropriately, of course. Nod. Keep an open posture. Just look interested, because hopefully you are.
Right, be present. What about actually capturing what they say and making sure we understand it?
Use follow-up strategies. Echo back key phrases they use, shows you heard it, and often prompts them to elaborate.
Mirroring, sort of.
Yeah. And periodically summarize what you think you've heard. Okay, so if I understand correctly, you're saying, then ask, is that right? Gives them a chance to clarify or correct you.
Smart. Checks understanding.
And don't be afraid to ask for clarification if something's fuzzy. Note contradictions too. Respectfully explore those later, maybe. They can be insightful.
And through all this, we need to be taking notes. Any tips for doing that effectively during the conversation?
A systematic approach helps avoid chaos later. The 2-column method is pretty popular and effective.
2 columns? How does that work?
In 1 column, you capture direct observations, exact quotes that jump out, factual statements, behavioral things you notice, pauses, hesitations, maybe timestamps for key moments.
It's the raw data.
Exactly. In the other column, your interpretive notes, your thoughts as they occur, potential, implications, questions that pop into your head, follow-up ideas triggered by what they said.
So what they said and what you're thinking about what they said, side by side.
Precisely. Keeps it organized.
Okay, that sounds really practical. So interview's done, we hang up or they leave. What's the immediate next step? Just file the notes?
Definitely not. Act quickly, within 24 hours ideally, while it's fresh.
Okay, good of you.
First, review and flesh out your notes. Fill any gaps. Add context you remember. Highlight key. Quotes accurately. Mark those follow-up areas clearly.
Tidy up the notes.
Yeah. Then do an initial analysis of that specific interview. What themes jumped out? Any surprising? Insights? Anything still unclear?
A mini analysis right away.
Exactly. And finally, assess the interview itself. Did you meet your objectives for this conversation? Were your questions effective? Anything you'd change next time? Any tech issues to fix?
Constant improvement loop. Makes sense. So after you've done this for, say, 10 or 15 interviews, how do you start connecting the dots across all of them?
That's when you need a pattern recognition framework, a way to see the forest, not just the trees.
How does that work?
You start by coding the data. Go through your notes, assign labels or tags to key topics, recurring, themes, unique insights, even emotional responses you noted,
Tagging everything.
right? Then group those codes into broader categories, things like pain points, desired, outcomes, decision criteria, barriers to change, current solutions used, whatever makes sense for your data.
Creating buckets of themes.
You got it. And the final step is mapping relationships between those themes. Is there cause and effect, dependencies, contradictions, correlations? Look for the connections.
So you structuring all that qualitative data to find the bigger patterns. What's the end goal of finding these patterns? How do we turn them into something useful?
That's the insight development process. Transforming patterns into actual actionable understanding.
Okay,
Look for those common threads, shared pain points, common goals, recurring barriers, consistent needs. Based on those, start forming hypotheses.
hypotheses like,
Potential solutions, strong value propositions, future priorities, maybe even pricing insights, educated guesses based on the patterns.
yeah,
And this is crucial, you have to test those hypotheses against your data. Does the evidence support it? Are there contradictions? What assumptions are you making? Where are the gaps?
validate your ideas against what people actually said.
Exactly. Rigor is important here.
Okay, so we've done the work, interviewed, analyzed, found patterns, developed insights. How do we share this effectively and actually do something with it?
Clear reporting and solid action planning. First, create a summary report. Standardize it.
What should be in it?
Start with an executive summary. Key findings, major themes, critical insights, recommended actions, short and sharp.
Highlights.
Right. Then a detailed analysis. Your methodology, who you talked to, the primary findings with. Supporting evidence quotes are great here, and the implications for the business or project.
The full story.
And finally, clear next steps, specific action items, research gaps, follow-up needs, maybe a timeline.
Got it. But the report itself isn't the finish line, is it?
Absolutely not. It's the starting point for action. You need an action planning framework.
Okay, how do we build that?
Prioritize your findings. Which ones have the biggest potential impact? Which are easiest to implement? What resources are needed? How urgent is it?
Focus on what matters most.
Yes. Then, for those top priorities, define specific action items. What exactly needs doing? Who owns it? By when? How will you measure success? Get concrete.
Assign tasks and deadlines.
And map it out on a timeline. Short-term quick wins, medium-term projects, longer-term initiatives. Note any dependencies between actions.
Can you give some quick examples of actions across those timeframes?
Sure. Immediate actions might be create that interview objective template we talked about, finalize your screening criteria, build the initial question guide, set up your recording system properly.
Foundational stuff.
Exactly. This week, maybe schedule the first 3-5 interviews, do a full test run of your tech, practice interviewing with a colleague, set up your analysis templates.
Getting ready to execute.
Right. Next 30 days, aim to conduct those 15-20 interviews, do the initial analysis for each, identify the first wave of patterns, and maybe present initial insights to the team.
Making progress.
And ongoing. It's about continuous improvement, regular interview practice, refining questions, updating your analysis approach, and consistently sharing what you learn. Keep the cycle going.
This whole process, when you lay it out like that, it's really quite structured. It's far more than just chatting with customers.
It really is. It's a discipline. Careful preparation, active listening, rigorous analysis. That's how you move past assumptions.
And get to those genuine needs and motivations.
That's the goal. That understanding is the foundation for building things that actually work, that people actually want.
So, for everyone listening, if they really want to connect with their audience, build better products, better services, What's the main takeaway?
Be intentional in how you prepare, be truly present and listen during the conversation, and be systematic when you analyze what you heard. Even small improvements in these areas can make a huge difference.
Start small but be deliberate. That's fantastic advice.
It adds up over time.
So, a final thought for everyone listening. Imagine how consistently applying these ideas, this structured approach to customer interviews, could fundamentally change how you understand your audience. What surprising, valuable things might you uncover just by really, truly listening? Thanks for listening to the second episode in our 5-part series, Build What Sells. I am JT, and thank you, Ella, for that great insight. Don't forget, if you are an aspiring entrepreneur looking to start an online business or already have a business you are looking to grow, check out the Startup Venture Lab free community online at startupventurelab.com. Until next time, JT out.
This podcast is brought to you by the Startup Venture Lab. If you're interested in starting an online business, have an idea, or are looking to grow your business, check out our exclusive member community online at startupventurelab.com.